Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I'm going to go over how to heal avoidant attachment style from a person I used to be avoidant. And these are some of the things that helped me to learn how to heal my own wounds. Now, this is not necessarily a very deep guide, it's just like little specific things that you can pick up day to day to heal if you are a dismissive avoidant. Now, this can help for fearful avoidance, especially if you lean dismissive, but it's a little bit more curated for dismissive avoidance. But in general, if you're a person who's in a relationship with an avoidant, if you're seeing them get better at these certain things, that's also a sign they're healing. But this is kind of some of the ways that avoidance can heal without having to do all the deep work right away. Eventually, you're going to have to face those things. But these can help. It can help in relationships and make you feel more comfortable with changing. And the first one, I think, is one of the most important ones, and it is one of the more challenging ones. But I put it first because I feel like if you're able to do this, you're already, mountains ahead of where you used to be. And that's be willing to compromise. You're not going to like the feeling. In fact, you're going to feel like it's unfair. You're going to feel like you're being taken from. You're going to feel like they're invading on you. You're going to feel bitter about it. You might even feel resentful about it. And the reason why is because you have this notion, I know I did, that people are unreliable. Sometimes you feel like they're undeserving because no one was ever there to help you. You don't realize this is how you feel. But if you really go deep into it, that's kind of where it started. You feel like, why should you compromise if you're the only person who had your back? You don't trust another person. That's where it comes from. And it's hard to tell because it's not what it feels like at all. At least it wasn't for me. I couldn't tell. But when you compromise, what actually happens is you're saying, I believe that I'm not in control of everything, which is scary because a lot of us has control issues or had control issues. And compromising means I am giving up some of the control to you. And that is really uncomfortable, but it really helps. Example could be maybe you really want, I don't know, the kitchen a certain way because in your mind you think, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to make this, or after work, I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to clean it this way, and you have this entire system in your head, which is why you want something a certain way. But if you compromise and maybe your spouse, partner, whoever it is wants a kitchen a different way for their own reasons. If you compromise, not only are you learning that you don't always need to be in control to feel safe, you also learn other perspectives because you're not the only person in this world who's right. And actually that's where it comes from. A lot of times avoidance, they feel like they're right a lot. I used to be like that, and you're wrong. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm kind of almost talking to myself, but like you're wrong a lot. And you're never going to know that, and you're never going to learn and get better if you don't learn from other people. What helped me particularly with compromise is I kind of looked at it from the sense of like a goal-oriented perspective. In my mind, I was like, okay, I know for me, I always want to get better. I always want to improve. I always want to do something when it comes to certain things. Other things I'm like very not perfectionist about, but like very specific things I can be. And so what I learned was if I want to learn to be the most, greatest version of how I perceive myself, right? The uniqueness of myself, I can only get to that potential if I learn from other people and add to my knowledge, right? Kind of like adding more books to a library. And the only way to do that is to compromise and pick up other people's skill sets and learn from them. That's how I looked at it, and it really helped me. The next one is reflect on times that you said something you didn't mean and learn why you felt, why you said that, why you deactivated, and realize maybe it wasn't necessary, okay? So a really good example is something that I used to say, a lot of people used to say, is I don't get attached, right? Really common. But when you look at it now as a person, me, I'm attached to somebody. A lot of people are attached. And you realize I was wrong. So why was I wrong? Because a lot of times we don't like to admit that we were wrong, but we were. It's a hard pill to swallow, but observing that you actually do get attached can teach you that, you know what, I was saying something in the moment. I was being emotional. I am an emotional person just like everybody else. Maybe I have different set of emotions, etc. But I did say something I didn't mean. And it helps you to become more mature and be more comfortable with who you are. Being more comfortable with making mistakes is part of this, like healing this attachment style. And it actually makes you feel even more powerful and more in control of your life, because you realize you don't really care about the outcome because you trust yourself enough to realize that even if something is out of your control, you trust that you can get yourself out of it and handle it. That's even more trusting yourself. Actually, the original perspective of dismissive avoidant attachment, you actually don't trust yourself. You just tell yourself you do, because that's why you're so afraid to let everything in. That's why you want everything in your control, because you don't trust that you can handle it. That's where it comes from. But if you learn that by opening up those walls a little bit, you pick up better skills, it can really help. Sometimes the next one is understanding your triggers instead of guarding them. Common triggers are unsolicited advice. I still don't like this one, and I don't think I ever will love this one, but I'm getting better with it. Unsolicited advice is a trigger, right? Being told what to do in general, that's a common trigger. Being talked down to or disrespected, I don't like this one, and I'm working on it. Being pressured to do something, I'm better with this one, but that's common. Being nagged, I'm better with this one, but also common. Someone saying something emotionally instead of calmly. This is a trigger that a lot of avoidants feel. Understanding that people communicate differently and your way is not always the correct way can really help. Someone crying for what you think is no reason. A lot of avoidants think that's a trigger. I also had that one. Someone demanding something from you where you feel like they're overextending or asking for too much. Those are common triggers. Try to understand why you feel that way and try to learn from the other person's perspective. A good one is to actually ask questions. Some people will get mad, but it's for your life, right? Ask, hey, I feel like you're saying this in a really emotional way. Why is there an emotion that you're feeling? I feel like this is not, that big of a deal. Can you tell me your perspective so I can learn? You can say it like that, and you can say, I'm sorry if that's offensive. I really am trying to learn. The next one is respect that your perspective is not the only valid perspective. We already touched on that, but that's really important. Focus on socializing with people close to you slowly, okay? A lot of avoidance, it's not that we don't like to socialize. That's not what it is. Like, I'm not uncomfortable in social situations. It just, a lot of times I feel that a lot of social situations can be very emotionally demanding. And I was never a person who was like, the most emotional person ever. A lot of you guys even say that like I'm very robotic, which I know that I can be. I try not to be, but I still am not like the best with like those emotional situations. And a lot of people who are social are very emotional. They're very expressive, and they find offense to people who don't process the same way. And so it ends up that you tend to be a little bit more isolated by preference and by choice because you don't want to deal with people getting mad at you. But slowly socializing with people that are close to you that you already trust can help. That means that maybe you can do something with a partner that, your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever it is, right? Maybe a friend that's been your friend for years. Maybe do something with them slowly, more frequently, and then get more comfortable with believing that not everyone's going to get mad at you just because you can't show up emotionally. Start learning to vet people more properly. The next one is give yourself downtime and tell people in your life you need that time to decompress. It's very important. The next one is expect people to meet your needs and ask for it. Tell them, I don't like when you talk to me like that. Please don't say that again. To me, that's very disrespectful, and that'll push me really far away. If you want to get something out of me, say it like this. I used to have to tell people that because that's how I perceive people. You want to get something out of me, but that's how I worded it, and it still worked. Probably could have said it better, but if you want me to do this, say it like this. If you want me to do it like this, give me time. It will not work if you keep nagging me about it, right? You have to communicate it in a way that you get your needs met. Otherwise, you're going to resent them. The next one is give people more than one chance every now and again. Don't walk away the second they try to break your trust. The ninth one is admit moments where you feel happy with human connection. This one, it can be difficult because sometimes it's really in there, but you can find it. The 10th one is if you are in a relationship, tell your partner you appreciate them. And the 11th one is to be patient with yourself. Let's summarize and then we'll wrap it. Let's summarize and then we'll wrap it up. The first one is willing to compromise. The second one is reflect on times you said something you didn't mean. Third one is understand your triggers. Fourth one is to respect that your perspective is not the only valid perspective. Fifth one is focus on socializing with people close to you slowly. The sixth one is give yourself downtime and tell people you need to decompress. Communicate it. The seventh one is expect people to meet your needs and ask those needs to be met. The eighth one is to give people a chance every now and again. The ninth one is admit moments that when you're happy for human connection, like admit that to yourself. The 10th one, if you're in a relationship, tell that person you appreciate them. And the 11th one is to be patient with yourself. I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.